Here is the shirt we are going to be inserting a collar on. So you should have finished up everything, inserted the sleeve, done the button stand and the buttonhole. The next thing we are going to do is measure out the circumference of this neckline. So put the collar together this way and pin it up. And what you want to do is notch here. So the next thing you want to do is measure around this neckline. So we have exactly 9 inches. Now we're going to plot the pattern for this collar. Starting off with a fresh pattern paper, we are going to draw a horizontal line right there at the bottom of this paper. And then on this horizontal line, measure 9 inches, which was the neck circumference we measured along the collar area, the neckline area. Now we are going to then measure 1.5 inches upwards here, 1.5 inches here as well. Connect those points together. After which you are also going to measure 9 inches on this last horizontal line we just drew. Join those 2 points with a short vertical line. Now from this new point we have just done, we're going to use a pencil for that part. From this new point, you're going to measure 0.5 inches on this horizontal line that we have here. Measure 0.5 inches from this point here, okay, and then measure 0.5 inches as well from this point up. Okay, now that that has been done, put your measuring tape on this 9 inches line and find the midpoint. The midpoint will be 4.5 inches here and 4.5 inches below as well here. The next thing you're going to do is join this point, this 4.5 inches point, to this 0.5 inch here that we marked here. It's just a temporary line, that's why I'm using a pencil. Connect those points together. Do the same for the line below. Once you have done this, the next thing is to put your curve ruler from this point here to this point. You want to place your curve ruler. You can use whatever French curve you have and connect those 2 points together, right? Use the curve to connect this way, okay? That's why we use the pencil for the one above, so you can clean it up below as well, this way. Awesome. So now that we have done this, the next thing is to just come to this line here, this point here that we have, and just go in by you can just go in by this mark between here and here. Just a very tiny bit. You don't even need to go in much, just a tiny bit, or still maintain the same corner. So just draw a slanted line from that corner. The slanted line, it could be, let me see what I have here. You could use about 0.5 inch or this line before 3/4 inches, either of those points. Just draw a slanted line there. And once you've done that, you now want to, from here, just draw a curve. Let me use a pencil first to mark out the curve. Okay, once you have been able to get your curve, I'll just use my marker. So that's how you want your curve to be there. The next thing we do from that point is come to this bottom point here and measure 0.75 inches to the left, which is here. Okay, so put your measuring tape on this point and measure 0.75 to the left. Now from this point, you want to connect it to this apex here where we curved, that sharp point there, where the curve touches the line, and connect those 2 points together this way. Okay, so 0.75 or 3/4 inches here, and connect it up onto that point. So now from this point here, just place your ruler. Okay, place your ruler, maintaining a straight line. Just maintain a straight line there and draw. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is place some measuring tape there. Let me put it from this point and measure exactly what you have between this line here, this one up here, and this one here. And from what you can see, we have 0.25 inches. That's a 1/4 of an inch. For this 1/4 of an inch, what we're going to do is put a measuring tape above here and mark the same 0.25 or 1/4 of an inch on this last line, and the line should stop right here. Okay, so what I'll do is put my ruler and draw the point, join the points together. So now that we have it here, put your ruler on this same vertical line that is slanted and connect it to the top there. On this same line, mark the same midpoint that we have here, which is the 4.5 inches that stops here. Okay, and then from here, connect it to that point. Place your ruler this way, right, this curved ruler, and make sure that the curve connects this curve here, right, from this point. Let it match up to that point on top this way. Okay, so remember, that's the point there. So let it match up to that point. From this point, measure 2 inches above. From this line here, this last one that is on top here, this is the band. We're done with the collar band. So from this point, mark 2 inches above, which stops here. The 2 inches also is on this straight line here, this point here. Mark 2 inches above here. Okay, let's now connect these 2 points together. These 2 inches points. From this point here, measure out 0.75 inches, which is just about here. Okay, so that means you need to extend this horizontal line. So from that point, connect it back to this point here, right? From this point here, this same point, this slanted line that connects all these points together, connect it back there. So this is the collar, and this is the collar band. And now we're going to cut it out. Let's see how to cut out. Now for cutting out, first of all, cut off this point here, this horizontal line below, and continue this way. Okay, now continue this way, and then remember this curved line that we did below here, this one here, that's how you go. This way. And now for this other one, you start cutting from this line above here, this way, continue straight up here, and then go this way. Okay, so we are through. These 2 points up are meeting up this way. Remember this slanted line here. This is the collar band and this is the collar. So let's cut this some fabric and see how the sewing process will follow. Alright, so you need to take your fabric and iron your interfacing to the fabric. Once you have done that, so let us mark first. Okay, so I'll just trace around. So I'll place it this way now. Make sure that this line, very good. Make sure the fold line. Then continue to trace. So this is the collar band. Let's put this on top. Do the same. Make sure you're following closely. Awesome. So collar band and the collar. The next thing you want to do is put sewing allowance around this that you have marked out. So I'm going to be using a sewing allowance of 1/2 inch. So use the sewing allowance that best works for you. So here we have it chalked out. So I will just cut right? The next thing we're going to do is cut the second piece of this. One of the pieces will be interfaced. Now we need to cut one of this and one of this, and that will not be interfaced. So let's quickly cut that. So here we have this and this cut, two pieces. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take this collar band, place it on this place that we trace, and you want to mark out this point here. This point here, you want to mark it out because this point is the one that joins up to this point here, if you remember clearly. And then for the other side to do the same thing, so I can say here, you want to place it right there on that curve here, okay, and mark out this point here. This point joins up to this point, so by the time you're joining, this should be sewn to that point and this should match up to that point. So that's why we are noting it down. Okay, let me make sure. Exactly, that's where it should be. So now that we have this, we can go right ahead to start sewing this up. Okay, so the first step we're going to do is sew up the main collar. Right side facing right side this way. We are going to sew up the collar. For the main collar, we're sewing it from this point right here all the way to this point. Then we take it this way and then back down here, okay? Make sure to match it up nicely. So I'll start from that point there. So once this has been completed, what you're going to do is trim around closely. Once you trim around, then you can turn it inside out and iron it neatly. Okay, so this has been neatly ironed, right? You can see that this place is open. Okay, this is how you should have it. So the next one we're going to work on is the band itself, the collar band. So we're going to put right side facing right side for the band. Okay, and what we need to iron is this bottom part here. Like iron it, this mark that we have here, you want to fold, right? Not this part that has the curve, the one below. You want to fold the one that has the interfacing, not the one without the interfacing, the one with the interfacing. Fold it this way and then begin to iron it up. Fold it and iron. So fold according to that line. You see that drawing the line helps because you know what you're now pressing. Okay, so here it is, the folded crease falling on the line we marked. After that has been done, we're going to remove this one. You know, there are two pieces of this, right? The one with the interfacing and the one without. Remove the one without and remove this collar that we've finished. Now sew up this part that you just ironed. You want it to stay put. So that has been done now. Cut it So this is how you should have it. Like, let this part be this way. After that has been done, the next thing we're going to do is take this point together, this one that has the interfacing that we just worked on, fold it together this way, get the midpoint and notch. Also get the collar itself, fold it this way, get the midpoint and notch. So once you finish notching, we also need to sew this collar, like sew the collar so that it's professionally done. So we have professionally finished the collar along the edges. Okay, so now that we're done, we're going to take this collar, take this part we notched and match up the notched parts together. So this notch and this notch should match up this way. We're going to pin right there. So you're pinning the two sides together. And then this part too, remember that part that we marked here? Make sure it matches up, right? So we'll pin there too. You can see that this line aligns to the collar, right? That's to show that we did it well, professionally. So this line too here should align to this part here. No one should be longer than the other. It should be at exactly the same point. So once you've done this, you want to sew from this point, sew it up onto this other point, okay? So that's what we'll do now. So I'm going to place my needle, let it enter into the part that we marked, and then I'm going to make sure that I sew on this line. So we are through joining it up this way. Yes, and this is what we are having. Look at it, it's already looking like a TM Louis shirt that we are making. This is nice. So the next thing we're going to do is take this other one and place it right side on right side, where, yeah. So it's better to work with it individually, like how we're working on it step by step, because if we just sew it together, there's bound to be mistakes and errors. But when you do it step by step, finish with one, then go on to the next, then go on to the next, you find out that you create a more perfect stuff. Most times we are usually in a hurry. That's just the truth. We are just like, oh, let me just be done with this project, let me get it over with. And then we end up with wonky looking garments that we'll now need to loosen and redo. But when you're taking it step by step, you're mindful about the process, it comes out a lot better. So this is what we want to do now. We're going to be sewing around this part here. So this is what I mean. Put your fabric on the sewing machine and start sewing around. Follow the part you chop. It'll make it a lot easier. And because these ones are already together, you are not struggling with handling 3 or 4 pieces separately. You are just handling 2 pieces together. Just keep going. Just follow the line exactly. Awesome. So this is what we have now, right? Once you open it, you can see that you have already created a masterpiece, right? So we'll just trim to reduce the bulk before going forward. So we're going to fold it this way and iron. Push this out. Okay, then iron it to stay put. This is what we are having. It is, look at how crisp it is. Okay, so what we're going to do now is get the shirt that we're going to be inserting the color to, and then we're going to take this part, right? This part that we have not worked on yet, the part that is not interfaced, and start pinning it to the shirt this way. Very good. So we have pinned it now. We are then going to sew the sewing allowance, which is 1/2 inch. You're going to sew it to this shirt. Awesome. So now we have sewn up the neckline. The next thing is just to push this inwards. Okay, let me put the strap. So we push this in. Whatever we've sewn there, you're going to push it in, and then use this one that you've already prepared to just overlap it. And so we need to start from this part here, this way. So you see what I did? Push it in, place this on top, and just sew it. That's all we do. So this is what you will be having on the inside here. Can you see the lines? I hope it's visible. Can you see the lines? I hope it's visible. Yeah. So that's what you'll be having. And we are through with our color. Okay, so we have come to the end of this tutorial. It is very, very neat. You can see for yourself how beautifully neat this collar came out to be. We have the band and we have the main collar. If you are looking for a project to insert your collar into, you can watch this DIY ruffle shirt dress tutorial so that you can insert your collar into that wonderful design. So we've come to the end of this video. Let me know if you found this helpful. Leave it in the comments below, as well as share this video to other sewing mates that will need to learn how to professionally do a shirt collar. Till we see you in the next tutorial, stay safe. God bless you all. Bye.